6 different bodies of water, all different, each with its own set of challenges and opportunities. Through the practice days and into the tournament days, they've tried to stay focused, to pay attention to the details, and be ready to take advantage of the opportunities. 50 pros and 50 co-anglers did just that, working through the 1999 season, performing well enough to finish in the top 50. And they're here to fish the Walmart FLW Tour Championship. It'll be the biggest payday of the year for one of our pros. $250,000 is the first prize, a $25,000 payday for our co-angler champ. The fishing fans in Wagner and Gibson Lake country are ready. The anglers are ready, and we're ready for the 1999 championship of the Walmart FLW Tour. Well, I'm Tommy Sanders along with Jerry McInnes, and here we are on Lake Fort Gibson near Wagner, Oklahoma. Lake Fort Gibson is on the Neosho River, as it's known up in Kansas. They call it the Grand River as it flows into Oklahoma here. It also forms Grand Lake of the Cherokees, very famous, well-known bass fishing lake. This lake is a nice one too, Jerry.
And this area is fantastic. We're just a little bit north of Muskogee and Wagner. Wagner was the most receptive town I think we've ever been to. And most of them are in these spectator boats right now.
Good percentage of the folks at Wagner who are so nice. So nice. And they're out there watching Eric Holt and his co-angler partner, Eddie Amos, here.
And this is a big day. This is Friday. This is the day where, well, the guy in the front of the boat's trying to survive for one more day. The non-boater in the back of the boat, boy, he's going for all the marbles right here.
Eddie Amos got a little bit of a tough time of it today. Anytime they're flipping, you know, the guy in the front of the boat has a definite advantage, a chance to catch more fish.
Good fish under the net. Stay down, pig. Come on, baby. I'm gonna come around this other side with him.
I got a spook on him.
Oh, please hurry.
Bring it back this way.
I gotta come over here. Woo, yeah!
Oh, yeah. How we got a spook?
Woo!
In the net.
That was a good job of sacrificing the equipment.
Well, Tommy, I believe we have a bright and shining star here in Eric Holt. I think we're going to have a big time following him today and the big final day.
Yeah, Eric worked his way up through the EverStart series, and here he is, pumping his fist. He's glad to be where he is.
And how about Tony Couch? Finally, after several years, we got him back.
Yeah, Tony Couch and Rick Purnell here.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Get him, Tony. All right. Thank you, Tony. That one will work.
Nice to see Rick Purnell scoring from the back of the boat there. He's one of our stalwarts on the co-angler side. He and his wife.
Right.
Oh, man, they fish all these tournaments, and he's in the top 10 here and looking good.
And we've got some tough finalists, and including one from Kentucky that we're going to be interested in talking to.
Dan Moorhead, did you expect to do this well when you came over here? If you fished this lake before, maybe I'll ask you that first.
Well, Tommy, this has been kind of a busy fall for me. I came over here and pre-fished about 3.5, 4 days before I had to leave and take off to Vermont for another tournament. And I had a real good practice. I gained a lot of confidence. Felt like I learned the lake. It's not a great big lake, but you know, it suits my style of fishing. I have fished in Oklahoma a few times, and the one thing I've learned, these fish live very shallow year-round.
And that's your style of fishing?
Well, I try to keep myself on being versatile, but yeah, I enjoy putting a flipping stick in my hand and covering a lot of water like we're doing now.
Hey, well, Danny, you talked about a busy schedule right now between promotions and other fishing tournaments, and that's not going to do anything but get worse. How are you guys handling all that?
Well, it's kind of tough. I mean, you just got to do the best you can. There was quite a few of us. We had to leave Vermont. You know, it was a 1,700-mile drive to get over here to fish. And my wife, bless her heart, she flew into Vermont to help me drive, and then she had to get back home to her business. But, you know, you just, like I said, you just kind of tough it up. And I always look at it as an opportunity instead of a detriment,
yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, like I say, the professional bass fishing is getting more popular, so this probably, for someone like yourself, this is probably going to get worse.
Well, I mean, that's fine. As long as you're in demand, then you're doing a good job, so I don't have a problem with that.
Dan, you've been in this position before. I think if we remember correctly, you sort of pulled it out at the last minute over in South Carolina to get into the top 5. What do you have to do today? What do you have to avoid in order to stay on track and stay on course?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I'm kind of in the same position I was before at Murray. The conditions are changing daily. I've got this one area I've got confidence. I've been fortunate to get 1 or 2 quality bites in the morning on a topwater bite, and then I could always somehow finish out my limit in here. And you know, I didn't get that topwater bite this morning, so I'm just gonna stay in here for a little while and try to cover as much of this as I can, and spend a little time flipping some docks. I've got 2 pretty good fish. I feel like if I can get me just a couple more keepers, I'll get the fish to stay and fish tomorrow.
Get the net. Hurry, hurry. Damn, stick it under that ladder. Just stick it under the ladder. Just stick it under there. Okay, get into that ladder. We got fish if you just get your hand on him. Yeah, look at that skinny fish. I believe them retreads all in here. Huh?
Good job, Terry.
Thanks. You too.
Almost forgot his rod there, Jerry. I mean,
my goodness.
what a struggle. I mean, that was worth it, though, obviously.
Thank you.
Terry
Thank you,
Bolton
thank you.
and Terry Chapman are our heroes from the back end of that pontoon. Wasn't that funny?
Oh, man, and now Terry Chapman is scoring.
This lake is noted for fishing boat docks. I tell you what, it's got lots of brush piles in it, lots of productive boat docks. The fish right now don't seem to be in those brush piles like, well, actually like they should have been. They just weren't there. But boy, there was a bunch of them around the boat docks.
Well, Eric Holt knows this, obviously. I don't think we've seen him get 15 feet away from a boat dock all week.
Right, I think he could hop off his boat at any time and walk to the bank. He really likes that. Of course, the boat docks really give a lot of cover for these fish.
Boy, he's skinny, but I'll take him. That is a skinny fish right there. Thank you, Lord.
By Timex, takes a licking and keeps on ticking. By Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks. By Coca-Cola, always Coca-Cola. And by Walmart, always the lowest price, always. Welcome back to the championships for 1999 of the Walmart FLW Tour. We're down to the 5 guys who'll fish for the first prize of $250,000 tomorrow. 5 guys who love their jobs.
I really like to fish. It's something I'd like to do all the time one of these days. Well, on a scale from 1 to 10, it's probably like a 2 to what it is today, I feel like.
It's just a great job. I mean, there's nothing better than being able to travel all over the country and meet all these new friends everywhere we go. And
the exposure this sport's getting is expanding so fast. It's just unbelievable, and it's giving guys like me the opportunity of a lifetime to come out here and fish for a living.
And that's where fishing is going from this point on right now. And of course, FLW, and of course, the show's helping that. And you can look at NASCAR where it was, look at fishing where it was. I've been fishing pro now for probably about 5 years, but I've fished on the no-boat side for a couple, 3 years. First thought is the FLW.
All right, Robertson, Holt, Daniel, Shaw, and Deal all ready to fish for the championship. Taking off from Sequoia Park here. This is a big, big day for Wagner, Oklahoma.
I used to be real concerned about fishing the docks in the rain, but last year I won a pretty big tournament up at Grand, and the first day was sunny and slick, perfect dock fishing conditions. Second day, it was just a torrential downpour all day long, and the fish still ate real good, and I hope they do it again today.
Eric Holt from Cape Fear, Missouri. And Jerry, why would he say a beautiful blue sky, slick day be a good day for dock fishing? Why would this not be considered a good
And
day?
of course, you know, they're guessing. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But when the sun's out nice and bright, most of those fish are looking for a place to hide. And so the perfect place around this lake is to scoot up underneath those docks and get in the shade. So that makes a sunny day better from them. But again, you can't really tell. Those fish, you know, they have a mind of their own.
There's a couple of big boulders scattered around in this little gut right here, and been some fish holding on them. We want them to come up and eat this thing this morning. Nice fish. Stay down, baby. Come on. He ain't a lot, but he'll get me started. Fish is about 1.75 pounds.
This has been a key pattern right here when it was cloudy. Any place in the back of a creek where you had a sharp drop off from 1 to about 4 feet, as far back in the creek as you can get, was a big fish pattern during practice. It hasn't paid off a lot during the tournament, but it should today. There's a lot of shad back here, but the bass will blast right through those shad, get to that crawdad. Still real hard to see your line. It's really important to watch your line when you're doing this. And it's really hard to see it. One of the main things in fishing a jig is not to tight line the jig. Always let it fall with slack line, and you really need to see that bite. You don't want to feel it. If you feel it, a lot of times the fish will turn it loose, but if you can see your line jerk, you can drop your rod, and the fish they'll never turn the jig loose. Then you have time to gather yourself and gather your line and see which way the fish is moving, and then jerk the opposite direction. And one thing I'm doing here that I don't do a lot, this type of rock I'm not hanging up too bad, so I took my weed guard completely off. And then I don't have to jerk nearly as hard, and I haven't lost a fish all week, so hopefully I'll continue that average. But even if I don't catch one right here this morning, I should be able to come here later on this afternoon and get another big bite or two. But I've got about 15 places that have the potential of catching a big fish or two.
Darrell Robertson listed as from Jay, Oklahoma. We know, though, he's from Southwest City, right over there almost in Missouri, not too far from Grove, which is the gateway to Grand Lake of the Cherokees. He's fished a lot of tournaments up there. It's on the same river as this lake, so he knows this kind of water, and he's done really well on it through the years.
And our first two guys that we stopped in on were fishing up against the bank. Darrell is out in a big flat, and I would bet my life that he's got some brush piles or there's some kind of cover out in the middle of this flat. He's not just throwing around there at nothing, but he's trying to work that flat, get around some of the rocks or the brush piles, and that's what he's been doing all week long.
You're kind of a rebel here if you're not fishing boat docks. Here, of course, one of the guys we saw fishing boat docks earlier there in the back of the boat with Terry Bolton was Terry Chapman, who went on to win the championship, the co-angler championship for the year. That's a big deal, and we give him all the congratulations.
Boy, I should say, especially when you're fishing boat docks, because the guy in the back of the boat is at a true disadvantage.
He is.
Well, he did great. As a matter of fact, Terry didn't quite make it, and kind of unfortunate because Terry's such a good fisherman, too. But back to Mr. Robinson.
Hey, he's got one.
And he's throwing a lipless crankbait out there, and he's probably fishing in 5 or 6 feet of water.
Yep, I would love for it to be just sunny. Sunny, sunny, sunny. But it's not. It's cloudy. I'm still gonna catch him.
Well, looks like a pretty good start to the day for Darrell Robertson. Best start of all 5 of our anglers here so far. I wonder if he got that. I didn't look under his hat. He says sometimes he gets himself a burr haircut.
Oh,
you know,
really?
When a big tournament's on, that's his good luck charm. We need to.
I didn't hear about
Get him
that.
to take his hat off a little bit later. See what's going on under there.
He's a talking son of a gun anytime.
That's why we have to talk so much here.
That's right. He would do our audience a big favor by talking a lot, because they would have to listen to us as much.
I imagine he's got some pretty interesting things to say, too. He knows a lot about the fishing here.
Well, he been documented. He is a farmer who likes to fish. I think that's really interesting. In fact, we don't know for sure that he'd stop farming if he does well in this tournament.
Definitely.
Going over now to Alvin Shaw from State Road, North Carolina.
Now, how'd you know that was Alvin Shaw, Tommy?
Well, I don't know. I just assumed. They told me we were going to go see Alvin Shaw, and here he is.
Alvin Shaw is another youngster that, and we got a bunch of them, don't we? Eric Holt, just a bunch of guys that are making an impact on this professional bass fishing. And Alvin was a little nervous this morning, didn't you think?
He was a little bit nervous. His hands were shaking a bit. He was getting his poppers ready, and the popper pays off.
Right, he catches a white bass.
Yeah.
Actually, Alvin has had a tremendous tournament so far.
Boy, I got a good one hooked here. There, he came out. He came out. I'm going to need to net him. He's got my line sawed up bad. Stay pinned, baby. Yeah, baby, that's what we're after right there. Oh, yeah. Whew. 3.5 right there, maybe 4. Thank you, Lord, thank you. Making a positive out of a negative right there. Yeah, I hadn't planned on coming back here, got hung up. Came back here, most people would be cussing. Ain't gonna do you no good. Just make the best out of it, and something like that'll happen to you. Boy, oh boy. Had a little old fish, and my knees are knocking already.
Hard not to get caught up in Eric Holt's enthusiasm there. I mean, it's contagious.
Well,
definitely.
but wouldn't your knees be knocking, Tommy, if you were in that position to win this tournament?
I tell you what, if I'd started out the year finishing last place, and here I am fishing for $250,000,
all right.
Everything would be knocking.
Alvin Shaw is about to score, I think, on a crankbait. And Alvin is fishing in a really interesting place. I think we're going to get a better look at it somewhere along the line here, but he's in the back end of a little creek, and he's got a special spot that he has caught some good weights in all week long.
That's what I was telling you about contact. I mean, I could feel that bait coming up on that root. That stump. Just stopped it at the right time.
Well, it wasn't one I was looking for, but he'll keep.
Steve Daniel had a ton of confidence coming into today. All of these guys, when they saw the rain, it seemed to just boost their confidence level a great deal. They were all hoping for rain, but the only guy who's really scoring right now is Darrell
Robertson, I should say. And if you don't, and that's a pretty good fish there. Yeah. If you don't mind me saying so, isn't it great to have Steve Daniels in here? Whenever that man says things, you want to sit there and listen to him, because he sure knows his fishing. So is Darrell Robertson.
Yeah. Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Wrangler. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans. By Citgo, you know me. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Mitchell, we know the water.
Without a doubt, the world's best anglers fish the Walmart FLW Tour.
Oh, my goodness, folks.
And this tournament series is backed up by the strongest sponsorship team in the industry. 1999 will truly be a historical year for us.
Alan Head is your champion.
And we're going to take you for the ride of your life.
There's a good one.
We have snuck up on Steve Daniels landing a fishing.
That one here like spinnerbait. That's kind of swimming it through there.
I hope everyone is watching how he pitches his jigs up on the bank, not necessarily casting them. And he just pitches it in front of the boat, lets it hit the bottom, bumps it along a few times, picks it back up, and bumps it out there again. And man, he really covers a lot of territory. And that's a much better method than casting.
But they ain't biting yet. They will. I just like to get a big one early. I got a feeling it's going to take a load today.
Okay, here's Alvin Shaw's spot. Now, he's in the back end of a creek. He has followed the creek channel around back in there, worked really hard, and found a special spot where, boy, every fish in that area seemed to congregate.
Okay, what we've got here, looks like the old creek channel followed the bluff. Here we got a sandbar, and it kind of just runs right across to that point. But then there's a washout just past it. Drops off in about 10, 11 feet, deepest place. Okay, in this deeper water, I've been going to a heavier jig, big 3/4. I don't know, you may can get it on camera, but I've been doing a little jingle bell thing here. Get a couple casts in, and I'll show you that bell.
Now, I don't think it's happening here today, but there's lots of bait fish on Fort Gibson. And Alvin was actually at times taking his boat around this hole way there in the background, and with the trolling motor herding the bait into the hole.
There he is. Good one too, I think. Yeah. That's what we came back here for. Easy. Yeah, that black spot on it. The old jingle bell. Yeah, what is it? Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Something like that. I'm nervous. Settle down. It's gonna work, it's gonna work. Big old jig, big old jingle bell.
You get those in the fishing section?
No. Believe it or not, you go in the sewing department at Walmart, and you can get these little bells. I think it's 200 for 77 cents. Ain't that a deal? They love it.
Good, but it looked pretty. Boy, I should have hesitated just another second on that fish. Behind the dock again. That's easy. Got him that time. Oh, boy, he's a good one. No, he ain't that big, but I'll take him. He ain't much, but I'll take him. About a pound and a half again. Timex boat on the move. Well, I missed that fish just a couple of casts ago. I'm glad he come back and got it.
Well, we caught up with Darrell Robertson. A lot of early action today. And Darrell, we talked to you about this earlier. This could be the day that turns you from a farmer into a full-time fisherman, right?
Yeah, that could happen.
You wouldn't mind that happening, would you?
No, no.
Boy, I tell you what, Darrell, we're anxious to hear all about this new bait you've got going. Is it time to expose it now?
Yeah, I think so. It kind of looks like a brush hog, but it's not really a brush hog. It's kind of a rib bait. Kind of like a ring bait.
Can you show it to us?
Yeah.
Hold it up for us there.
I'll do that, if I can find it.
You've caught most of your fish on buzz baits this morning?
I've caught the biggest fish on a buzz bait.
And I assume when things start settling down, you'll go to this new bait.
Well, I've caught a couple on it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you been fishing it around boat docks primarily, or just off the banks?
In some brush piles and some rocks. Trying to stay in about 4 or 5 foot of water with some brush piles.
What would you say the big advantage of the new design is?
I think it's the ring on there. I think it's the texture. And when a fish gets a hold of it, they just really hang on to it.
You said yesterday you really didn't need a hook on it.
Well, I'll tell you what, the biggest fish I had Wednesday, when he come up beside the boat, the guy was there with the net, and he netted the fish come up and jumped and spit the bait out, and the guy netted it. And the hook was still buried up in the plastic.
First look now at Ricky Deal from Huntsville, Alabama. And when the Walmart FLW Tour came to his town, he put on a big show there on Wheeler Lake, made the top 5 there on the Tennessee River.
He's put on a big show over here, too.
I come in here and practice, and this first dock I come to right here, I caught a 4-pounder. The next one I come to, I caught a 3, and the next one a 3. And I just caught a 2-pounder off that.
You deal with a keeper, but kind of a small one. He's going to have to upgrade his size a little bit if he wants to be competitive.
Yeah, but they can do some fast upgrade around these boat docks. We've seen guys catch a number of 3 to 5 pound fish. So he has the right pattern. It's just a matter of getting his fish active.
I'm really kind of surprised to see Ricky fishing boat docks today, because he was the one who was so pumped up about it being raining. So you thought maybe he had something else going as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Back to Darrell Robertson.
And Darrell Robertson has not thrown at a boat dock all day long.
I might need that one. He ain't liking them thinking hooks very good, is he?
Well, when you take care of 800 head of black Angus brood cows.
800?
800 head is what he says he's got over there. That's how you take your mind off all that hard work.
Well, I guess so. Oh, well.
Man, I'll tell you what.
He may have his mind on cattle right now. Oh, and he missed him again.
He's kind of working like a brood cow right there. We go. Darrell.
Whoa.
So I guess they count. No matter how you net them, if they're in the boat, they count.
All right. He don't like nothing about that net, did he?
Good job. When's all this going to be on TV? Do you guys know?
October 24th, isn't it? Ah, shoot, come on. I don't think that was a good one anyway, the way he bit at it. I think October 24th, isn't it? Fishing around. Fishing these docks like this, you sure got to learn some tricks like that if you want to save your baits.
Yeah, we're done.
That fish there just peck, 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 and then he took off with it. I'm hoping he was a little guy. Got to check my line. Boy.
Welcome back. You're watching the Walmart FLW Tour Championship for 1999. We're here at Fort Gibson Lake, Wagner, Oklahoma. 5 guys in competition for a $250,000 first prize. And sometimes at this point in the proceedings, we kick our buddy Jerry McInnes out of the weigh-in tent here, put him in a helicopter so he can get up there and get a better idea of what's going on the lake, a better view of the lay of the land and the water. Isn't that the general idea, Jerry?
Oh, boy, that's great. And I look forward to those trips away from the tent, out here looking at the, looking in on some of these fishermen. We're just leaving the town of Wagner, just almost to the lake. And Tommy, we've had pretty good fishing so far. It's been a little bit cloudy, which has been to our fishermen's advantage. And, you know, we're going up towards Flat Rock Creek, which is probably half a dozen miles away from where they originally started. We're looking for Eric Holt up there in that area. When that's done, then we're going to see if we can't track down Steve Daniels.
Well, we want to listen in. When you talk to these fellows, we'll let you go ahead and establish communications with Eric Holt.
And boy, we are looking in on a man who finished dead last in the first tournament of the year. Eric, you're in a very good position to have such a lousy start.
Yeah, that lousy start really helped motivate me to fish hard the rest of the year. And my goal before I started this thing was to make it to today, and I'm here, so I can't complain any.
Boy, you're here at the best day of the year, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I am.
Tell us a little bit about your experience on this lake.
Actually, I was raised upriver a couple hundred miles in Kansas. But the lake I learned how to bass fish on was kind of similar to this one.
How are you fishing right now? You know, just tell us what your pattern has been through the day.
Well, I started off fishing the docks I've been fishing for the last 3 days, but today they're getting a lot of local pressure. So I'm switching up to some of these smaller little stretches of docks and docks I haven't been hitting, hoping I can find some fresh fish to catch.
Now, the bank that you're fishing on right now, and obviously you're fishing around a boat dock, but those banks are pretty steep, aren't they?
Yeah, the banks I'm on right now are. The docks, I can't really pattern the fish as far as some of them have been in real shallow water and some of them have been in real steep water. The only thing today, most of my fish have been coming from behind the docks instead of the sides and the front like they have been the last 3 days.
And where are they at when you come across some fish? Are they close to the bottom, or are they kind of sucked up underneath the dock?
No, today they've all been right on the bottom, in behind the dock. None of them, you know, none of them back in the stalls or anything like that. The last 3 days, it's just been a real mixed bag. I've caught some that I've seen come up and bite my jig as I've been swimming it, and some in the middle and some on the bottom. I mean, today's the first day it really showed me any kind of a pattern, but unfortunately my pattern's kind of stalled out here a little bit.
Well, you got plenty of time yet. Tell me, you seemed a little bit nervous this morning at the beginning, but now you're sounding like you're kind of got a hold of yourself and in pretty good condition.
Well, I wasn't really nervous this morning. I was just anxious. I was ready to get out here and fish, you know. Man, with a tournament like this one that gets so much press and so much exposure and there's so many peripheral things going on, it's tough to keep your focus on fishing.
Well, I tell you what, we are going to let you go. I know you've got a good start. It's going to be real exciting this evening, man. I'm anxious to see how you do. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Well, Jerry, at this point, we were going to try to strike up a phone conversation with Alvin Shaw, but we just couldn't get the connection established, so we're going to let you guys follow that boat right there, and obviously that is the boat of Steve Daniels from Clewiston, Florida, down there on Lake Okeechobee, although he's been gone from home for about 8 weeks now, fishing all sorts of fishing tournaments, and he's a guy I know that we've all admired for some time now.
I've always made the statement that Steve Daniels is one of the coolest guys out on the water, and boy, this is the day to kind of stay calm, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, you kind of have to, as slow as the bite is, you really better be calm. I haven't done very good this morning. I've only caught a couple, haven't seen any big fish, and right now I'm just kind of fishing like I practice, moving around, hitting a lot of different kinds of rocks, and haven't hit on anything yet, but all I need to do is catch one big one, and I'll know what to do.
How many spots would you say you've hit already, and how many more do you have to hit?
Well, some of the places I fished this morning, I've never fished before. I've had an eye on them for a few days, and it's been so slow in the areas where I've caught them. I was just trying to hit on some new spots, but really nothing's worked. I've caught a couple, and the ones that are up are biting. They're real aggressive. The big fish just haven't moved up yet, and I'm hoping that sometime between now and 2:45 that I'll get a little stretch where there's some big ones, and it don't take long to catch them once you find them.
Don't you normally find that in spite of the fact that you may be out fishing 8 hours, the biggest part of the day comes in maybe a 20, 30-minute stretch?
Yeah, you'll have your best days sometimes in less than an hour. You'll make your whole day in an hour, but the whole key to it is being in the right place at the right time, and I've had some awful good days practicing, so I've been fishing really today like I practice. I'm missing a lot of stuff, but I'm hitting a lot of targets too, and all I need to do is just hit on a little stretch of water where there's some big ones, and that seemed to be the key in practice when they were biting really well. Is you hit one little area where you might get 5 or 6 bites.
What are you fishing with primarily?
I'm fishing with a jig. I'm staying with a jig primarily because that's the only way I'm going to be able to catch 15 or 20 pounds. I'm not going to be able to do it with a crankbait or a top-water bait or any other bait. And so I'm just hitting a lot of targets, and I'm going to trip in the right little area here in a little while.
What depth do you think is the magic depth?
Well, all during practice, you had to be sitting in about 5 to 6 feet of water, kind of throwing at the bank, and it had to drop off pretty fast. And that's kind of what I'm keying on right now. I've hit some deeper stuff, and I've hit a little bit shallower stuff, but really I'm still looking. I hadn't found anything I like yet.
Kind of looks like you've got a lot of chunk rock right there in the area.
There's a lot of chunk rock. That's basically what I'm keying on. These fish have been on rocks all week, and even when the sun was out, I caught them in the same type places, just not as good as I expected to catch them.
Well, I tell you what, Steve, we are pulling for you, and we're going to get out of your hair right now. We'll be seeing you a little bit later on this afternoon.
Well, I'm going to hang in there, and I'm not giving up.
Okay, man.
I haven't caught any fish off of it yet, but it's worth at least a cast or two in there because they do seem to be moving shallower, and this dock is setting quite a bit shallower than the other ones.
Eric Holt from Cape Fear, Missouri, and that's on Table Rock, right, Jerry?
Right.
Table Rock Lake down there.
Clearwater Lake.
Yeah, not too dissimilar from parts of Lake Fort Gibson here. And Eric has known, he says, since junior high school, he was going to be a professional bass fisherman. So he has made the dream come true. Sort of an interesting way. Qualified through the Ever Start Series, which is sort of the junior circuit to the Walmart FLW Tour. And did everything the right way and worked his way onto the tour this year. And look at him now.
I'm really, not trying to get ahead of myself here, but I'm really anxious to see how Eric's going to do next year, because like I said right off the bat, I think this could be one of the real new guys on the block, so to speak.
Eric graduated from Pittsburgh College.
Oh, really?
That's Pittsburgh, Kansas. Now,
Pittsburgh, Kansas,
Pittsburgh,
right.
PA.
Yeah. Well, he's doing a fine job today, boy. He is dissecting those boat docks, knows which ones to fish, and hey, that looks like Eddie from the Fraser show, isn't it?
He's on vacation, they're not taping right now, so there they are.
Yeah, right there where I caught that fish. The other day I caught about a 3-pounder there on a little crankbait. And there's 4 or 5 of them big old limestone rocks just set out there just barely underneath the water.
Boy, I've been anxious to see him catching fish on this new bait that he kept telling us about. But so far, all he's doing is just wearing them out on a buzz bait.
Yeah, just regular standard issue buzz bait there. This
Absolutely.
farmer who, if he's like most farmers, he's got a lot of bills to pay and a lot of loans to pay off, so he could be really helping himself here today.
I should say.
Time to wrap it up from Lake Fort Gibson here, and the fishing certainly has been challenging today. You saw it, a couple of our anglers barely even showed up, but we got a feeling that our weigh-in crowd back in Wagner, Oklahoma has a great show coming.
How about this for a flashback? Eric Holt retrieving his lure by throwing his rod at a hung-up jig.
You sure got to learn some tricks like that if you want to save your baits.
Looking for 5 pounds from Alvin Shaw. Eric Holt's your leader at this point.
Digging for fish number 2. That's a good solid keeper.
Yes, sir.
Well, Ricky Deal, Alvin Shaw, and Steve Daniels had a tough fishing today, but my buddy Tommy Sanders is going to assist Charlie Evans with a weigh-in that sure is to Oklahoma's liking.
For Alvin Shaw, and Alvin, we'll get you set in the back there. 212, is that what we're looking for from Darrell?
2 pounds, 12
2 pounds,
ounces.
12 ounces for Darrell Robertson. There are only 3 guys left now. 3 guys left. 212 to take the lead.
Might do it.
All right. All right.
That might do it. No, not quite. It'll be 2 fish we're going to weigh for him. That'll do it.
All right.
2 fish, 4 pounds, 15 ounces.
4:15. Keep your seat there. He takes the lead. There's your new leader right there, Darrell Robertson and Steve Daniel. 2:15, Steve. 2 pounds, 15 ounces. Is that it? That's it. Man, let's give him a hand. Steve Daniel. Everybody, what a week. What a fisherman. Well, you listen to all the talk that goes around here among the fishermen, the people who really follow the tour all year long. They said, man, this is Steve Daniels' day. The weather's right. Everything's right. The fish are in the right place. But sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Debbie told me this morning she's going shopping, and I got thinking about that. You know, about 9 o'clock, I had one little old fish. Man, I really got to fishing fast then. I threw that jig out there, and I wouldn't let it sit. And I think I just got fishing it too fast, and I have a tendency to do that.
Well, I tell you what, I know a lot of things that you've learned through your career, and I'm sure you've learned something at this stop as well. You're a student of the game, and you pass on your knowledge to a lot of people, and there sure are a lot of people who appreciate everything you do for the sport of fishing.
Well, I'll tell you, you're going to learn something every day that you go. I don't care who you're fishing with or where you're at. If you don't learn something, you know, you're not really watching. You're not really in tune to what you're trying to accomplish, and because it's the little things that make the difference in the big strings and not catching anything at all. It's sometimes something that's so subtle that you can't even see it. And sometimes just time on the water, the more time you spend out there, you'll just sense certain things sometimes that'll tell you need to be doing something, and that just comes from experience and time on the water, and we all need to spend a little more time out there, I guess.
Let's hear it for him. Steve Daniel, what a great job, Steve. Down to 2. Eric Holt, Darrell Robertson has the lead right now. 2 guys left. They've each weighed in 3 fish. Is that right, Charlie?
Each have weighed in 3.
Each have weighed in 3 fish. Now is when it starts to tighten up. Everybody's throat kind of starts to close down a little bit. And this is the time, well, we got to do it to you. This is the time when we take a little commercial break. We'll be right back. It's the championship of the 1999 Walmart FLW Tour. We are down to 2 anglers out of a total of 5 who were fishing today. $250,000 is the first prize. Our leader, Darrell Robertson, 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Eric Holt, in order to take the lead, has got to bring up 2 pounds, 5 ounces. Eric Holt, can you bring him up? Looking for 2.5 for Eric Holt in Cape Fear, Missouri. Let's pull him out.
Pull him out. Let's have a look.
Let's see what
the bag too?
No, here's the bag weight. Just the fish, Eric.
I've been sneaking a bunch of water in the bag. I was hoping you'd let me put it in there. I don't know. We'll hope.
Let's see.
Oh, my God. Woo! Man, oh, man. I'll tell you. Pretty impressive.
I think that'll do 2.5 on it. I hope so. One fish, 3 pounds, 13 ounces, a new leader.
13, our new leader is Eric Holt. All right, Eric. We'll let him stand up here, Charlie. Eric?
Leave him right here.
We know you're a little more interested now. You got your head in the ball game now, so we're going to let you stand by.
Do you have any more fish?
Oh, see, that we wanted to know that. Okay. Darrell Robertson, 1 pound, 10 ounce. Oh, my gosh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, my word. Man, oh, man. Pretty good stuff there. As good as it gets, I'll tell you what.
2 fish here that weigh 7 pounds, 3 ounces.
7 pounds, 3 ounces. Your new leader, Darrell Robertson. Darrell, keep it right there. 14.6 is the total. Eric Holt has weighed in 4 fish. Eric Holt, in order to take the lead, in order to win the $250,000, what you've got to come up here with is 1 fish that weighs 5 pounds, 11 ounces or better. That'd be a whale. That'd be a whale. Eric? Oh, there's your champion right there, Darrell Robertson. All right. Let's hear it for him. Oklahoma, give it up right here. Darrell Robertson.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com.